Are we finally ready to take the Minnesota Timberwolves seriously? I mean, come on, they are poised for what looks like to be an epic showdown with the Dallas Mavericks. And if I'm Dallas, I gotta tell you, I'm a little scared of the T-Wolves. So how exactly is Minnesota doing what many thought was unthinkable just a few weeks ago? I'm talking all about it in today's video, so thank you so much for being here today. My name is Troy. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel and hit that like button too so you never miss another NBA video from me. I want to go through an article from Andy Bailey over at Bleacher Report. I'm going to give you some of my thoughts on it as well, because after grinding out a 98-90 win over the reigning champion Denver Nuggets, Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves are headed to the Western Conference Finals, if you can believe it. And it took a lot more than Ant-Man's typical heroics to get it done, because with about 11 minutes to go in the third quarter of Game 7, Jamal Murray of the Denver Nuggets drilled a three to put Denver ahead 58-38. It seemed like all hope was lost. By that point, the Nuggets had an almost 97% win probability, and that even crept a little higher when Karl Anthony Towns missed a shot on Minnesota's next possession. But it didn't matter in the end, because the Timberwolves' ferocious defense drove the action the rest of the way. It held the Nuggets to only 32 points for the final 22 minutes and 50 seconds. The defense seemed to fuel the attack on the other end, and it helped every Denver Nugget not named Nikola Jokic or Jamal Murray to a total of 21. Yes, 21 points on 8 of 28 shooting. That's under 29%, my friends. And while Anthony Edwards is certainly a key cog in that defense, the unit dominates because all 5 players are on the same page. Cohesion doesn't even begin to describe it. Because when you have Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns, and Jaden McDaniels, the starting 5 is huge, but it's also mobile. During Game 7 and really throughout much of the series, they kick out passes from Jokic to shooters that typically lead to three-pointers. That just didn't happen. On more than one occasion, an outlet to a player like Jamal Murray or Michael Porter Jr. or Kentavious Caldwell-Pope would seem wide open while the pass was in the air, but by the time it got there, there was a Timberwolves player who was in the shooter's face. And that didn't just lead to missed shots, it also forced some over-dribbling from Porter and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. It had Denver's typically poised offense looking completely scrambled. And it was that resistance that gave Edwards time to wake up, because he has drawn comparisons to Michael Jordan this postseason, and that's for good reason, because for the Denver series, prior to the last game, he was averaging over 30 points, 6 rebounds, and nearly 6 assists, along with 3 threes and almost 2 steals. His career playoff numbers were eerily similar to MJ through the same age. He even moves like him, and that killer instinct jumps off the screen too. It did when he yelled in KD's face in the first round. It did when Ant-Man had 31 second-half points in the closeout game against the Suns. It did when he punctuated that win with a Jordan-esque dunk. And when he opened the series against Denver with 43 points and a win. The comparisons, they just kept coming. But for Game 7 against Denver, by the time that the Nuggets had let their lead balloon to 20 points, Ant-Man, he only had 4 points on 1 of 7 shooting. Like I said before, seemed like everything was dead in the water. Edwards was minus 19 so far in that game. He and the Wolves weren't out of the game though, and that's because they're far more than just their superstar. Towns and McDaniels both had 23 points. Gobert had 13 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 blocks. Mike Conley, the ever-steady conductor himself, had 10 points and hit a back-breaking sidestep 3 during that T-Wolves comeback. The supporting cast did what it had to do to keep the Timberwolves just close enough through those first 2 quarters. Then Edwards, he got it going by the end of the game, finished 6 of 24 from the field, but had some loud buckets during the comeback and seemed more himself. On the final possession of the third quarter, he drilled a step-back 3 over the outstretched arm of Aaron Gordon. That cut the lead to 1. He nailed a 3 that put Minnesota up 10 with just over 3 minutes to go. And that was pretty much all she wrote, ladies and germs. He was good when he needed to be. His teammates were good when he wasn't. And we shouldn't be surprised because Rudy Gobert, he's a 3-time All-Star and a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. Cat has made 4 All-Star teams. Conley's made 1, and McDaniels has multiple all-defensive nods in his future. The team is huge, they're athletic, they're well-balanced. After the game, Jokic told reporters that he thought Minnesota was just built to beat us. And he was probably right. The architect of this Timberwolves team, Tim Connelly, built the Nuggets roster prior to joining the Wolves a couple years ago. So being built to beat Denver is what it was all about. There are still 3 other teams left standing, and getting through Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, and the Dallas Mavericks is far from a foregone conclusion. And the Boston Celtics, they're a juggernaut in their own right in the regular season. So let's not plan the parade in the Twin Cities quite yet, but Minnesota, they are America's new favorite team. I love watching them. I'm rooting for them. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Since you've watched this far, make sure you drop a like for the YouTube algorithm and hit that subscribe button too so you never miss another NBA video from me. I feel like I've been doing a ton of Timberwolves content on this channel lately, but hey, who can blame me? They're just a really fun team to follow. Check out some of my other Timberwolves videos while you're here. Let me know what you think, and I'll catch you next time on the Half Court Report. Have a great day.